Are all women gold diggers?
I mean, all women have the capability to be gold diggers and extract resources from men. Sure.
People do have the idea that marriage is something that it's not. They're going in there
Yeah.
and it's all about, oh, this is going to complete me, or this is going to make me happy, or not knowing that from, at least from definitely the male point of view, you're signing up for more responsibility.
For guys, they're more the romantic, so they sort of enter it expecting more of the blissful outcome. Whereas for women, they're a lot less romantic than guys. They're more on a transactional level, sort of thing. So the notion of romance isn't as high for them as it is for men. So the expectations, I think, for men and women are very different too.
I will agree about the transaction point. Nobody sits there and go, well, I'm going to do this X, Y, and Z, and you're going to give me this X, Y, and Z. They don't think of it. It's more of on a subconscious level. But if an element goes away, then it's like, oh, well, I'm bringing more to the table now. So there is definitely a transaction. We each are getting something out of the relationship, or else we wouldn't need to even be in it or want to be in it. Do you believe that every guy who chooses to marry, that a prenup is required? Because I get these comments from a lot of people who are like, oh, the women are all about the money. But a lot of these guys are acting as if they're big ballers, as if they got some fat wallet. Come on now. You just don't have enough assets to even require that. What are your thoughts on that?
If you're wealthy and she isn't, and it's a first-time marriage, you should probably have a prenup. Because again, like as a instrument of love, marriage doesn't work 50% of the time. And the ones that stay together, most of them are miserable because they're not in love or bliss. So you should definitely have a prenup to govern the untying of the knot, because you'll have a far better outcome with one than without it. So guys out there listening to this, don't listen to anybody that tells you, oh, it's like the law of expectation says that if you have a prenup, then you're probably going to get divorced. That's a load of crap. If you're pretty much equal, like you're starting out, you're both 20 years old, you're young, you're moving into like a religious type of ceremony because it's like culturally appropriate for you, and you've done nothing with your life and you've accomplished nothing, there's really no point. It's just going to serve to aggravate the situation. You don't really need it. I mean, he doesn't have anything, she doesn't have anything, so what's the point? If it's a second time marriage and you got children from a prior relationship, a prenup makes sense then as well, because you want to make sure that your stuff goes to your kids if anything happens, not her kids. It just makes sense from a logical, perspective for planning. So there's in many situations it makes sense, because most people get married later on in life now. I think the average age for marriage is like close to 30 now. And if there's a difference in net worth, which there usually is, because women are hypergamous, they like to date and marry up. They usually don't like to look down at a guy. There's no woman that wakes up in the morning and says, gee, I can't wait to provide for a man, financially. It just doesn't happen. But men do it all the time, and that's just the way things are, and it's totally fine. But if you're, Steve, the VP from accounting, making $300,000 a year, and you're marrying Becky, who's a $40,000 a year hairdresser, you definitely want to have a prenup.
You brought up the hypergamy, so let's go ahead and talk about that. A lot of men that I get comments from, they're quite jaded, they're quite bitter. They're either in a relationship that is, we'll say, not ideal, and then they get into this mindset of, well, she just won me for my money, she was just a gold digger. Are all women gold diggers?
I mean, all women have the capability to be gold diggers and extract resources from men, sure. It doesn't always start out that way, but you should treat all guns as loaded, right? You should never point a gun at anybody that you don't intend to harm. And, you should approach, unfortunately, relationships and love kind of the same way. You need to understand female nature, and most guys don't. They just walk into it blindly, and the first girl that gives them attention or responds to them or is even remotely attracted to them, they'll want to get married to right away. And they don't understand female nature. And it's like most dudes that I talk to will spend more time researching the fuel economy, the trunk space, the fuel range of a new vehicle that they're looking to buy, rather than trying to suss out a woman to see what she's made of, or understand what women respond positively to, or to look for red flags. They're just not attuned to it. They don't think about it. They're told their entire life women are just sugar and spice and all things nice, right? So I think that these are things, like, these are difficult conversations that a lot of people don't like to have. And like you said, there's a lot of jaded guys out there that are just pissed off. And I get why they're upset, but nobody cares, right? Like, you have to take ownership for your own life as a man. Nobody cares about men. It's just the way that it is. It's fine. I remember Chris Rock made a joke about it one time. He said, only women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Men are only loved under the condition that they provide something, which is true. So let's just accept that, move on, and, you know, make yourself valuable and navigate love and relationships accordingly so that you don't expose yourself to unnecessary risk. But that's a tough conversation to have with, you know, strongly devout, religious guys that are committed to the idea that if they just love a woman enough, like just love her harder, bro, and everything will be fine.
Right.
And, you know, there's a lot of guys out there today in sexless marriages. I mean, like we were talking about that before the show too.
I like that you operate in the reality-based situation as opposed to the ideals or how it should be.
What's the alternative? Like sugar and like rainbows and butterflies? Come on.
Like, yes, there are ideals, but that's not where we're living. I see this a lot where guys will be like, well, women need to take accountability. I'm like, listen, women are never going to take accountability, and they don't have to, because there's always been a man to save them. So let's not say how women should be, or they should be less emotional.
To your audience, that should be your opening line if 95% of people that watch you are men, because that needs to be drilled into their head. That little soundbite there. Women are not going to take accountability, so just accept it, bro. It's like, you know, the sun's hot, the water's wet. It is what it is.
Let's talk about feminism for a minute. Feminism has really done a number on relationships. We've been told that women need to, you know, go to work. They need to never depend on a man financially. We're going to be screwed. And so women and men bought this idea that this is a good thing. I think that having the option was certainly where we needed to go with this, but it's gotten so extreme now. We're seeing the domino effect of it. What do you think has been the worst thing about feminism as far as when it comes to relationships?
The thing about feminism is that it's no longer about equality. Women have had equality for a long time. We've been on parity for despite the whole story about, oh, women only make 75 cents on the dollar for every dollar that a man makes, blah, blah, blah. They've already, you know, blown that out of the water. Feminism is now a supremacy movement. It's about the subjugation, the bending of the knee of men to women. You know, women can point at a guy and accuse him of, you know, hashtag like Me Too, right? So there's lots of, you know, great men that are falling at the accusations of women that have been misalleged. There's been athletes that have lost their jobs and had to go work in other sports leagues because of it. There's been politicians, there's been actors, there's been prolific entrepreneurs that have all been taken down at the knees over an accusation that if a man were to allege to a woman, the response simply wouldn't even exist. Like it would just fall on deaf ears. It's about a supremacy movement today. And again, you know, it's one of those things like, don't get mad at it, don't get pissed, bro. Just understand what it is what it is, and navigate it accordingly. You know, you hear a lot of the guys that are like, oh, well, you know, I got to find a gal that's not a feminist, or you know, she doesn't buy in the whole feminism narrative. And it's like, my dudes, I can tell you right now, every single woman in family law, if you get divorced and wants to untie the knot, will rely on harsh family law to extract as much in the way of resources from you, alienate you from your kids to get the best possible deal that they can. And that's a feminist movement. It's not going to be about like, let's just split things 50-50, share custody, like everything will be fine and agreeable. It's like there's a total leveraging of hostile laws that hate fathers. So you have to understand, like, all women have a degree of feminism in them. It's just to what degree and when they're going to leverage it. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.